And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. You're here with me, Hafgezz, and sleepy old Voa. How are you doing, Voa?
I'm doing a little bit better, but the ending of that last match was so intense it blew up my monitor. I'm now casting from a potato.
Excellent. Good to know that we've got you back anyway. So, we did just see, in the first of this best of three, Fr0stbyte managing to take the Nexus of Legion of the Octopope to finish out the game. Huge amount of pressure that came in. A really solid couple of team fights from Fr0stbyte, even though Octopope really tried to get their foot in the door there to fight back. And, really good play overall. We do now see Fr0stbyte on the red side, and they've banned out Galdrax Nocturne. Very good respect ban right there.
He just put in so much work in that last game. It was ridiculously impressive. I didn't expect him to get to play it again. Of course, this means that they have the option now of not banning an assassin and leaving one open in mid, or just banning an assassin. It's fine too. Interesting.
They've left open Kassadin. Nope, not going to see that coming up from Fr0stbyte. They're not going to let that one drop. But what is open right now is Nunu? Fizz is what I was going to say, but... there we go. And Oriana's a more reasonable one to expect coming out of it. Yeah, definitely a very solid first pick there. We saw Gigas Leviathan playing that Oriana to really, really good effect last game, and now Avinius is going to have a go. Thresh was left open, which has just been snatched up there, and again, Fr0stbyte want that Shen.
Well, he put in a lot of work in the last game and was very, very solid, especially with Scenarios ganking in top for him so early on. I imagine that we're probably going to see Sejuani again this game. It was a very, very good pick. It was very, very strong. And now, since it gets a start blue buff, maybe we'll see the same no-item start again. Who knows? I still want to know if that was a mistake or not. It was amazing if it was. Or even if it wasn't, it's still amazing. Anyway, Thresh being picked up is pretty huge. Like we said before, it's just a threat of him at least going top lane again. Have they? No, they haven't. Gausman is still going to be playing. At least he was really solid last game. And Janna getting picked up. Maybe. Do you really think they got to go with Janna, or do you think that they might pick one of the other supports that's currently available?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they did see the Janna. Well, they've gone for the Janna. Janna's pretty solid for disengaging, and it already looks like with the Shen and the Thresh, they've got a really strong divey sort of comp. If they can land that death sentence, of course, strong engage coming in. And here we see a Diana being hovered over, another one of those champions that really likes to engage, which was making this Janna so much more effective. If she can wait for that second charge of the Lunar Rush and then pop them on soon, Diana is miles away with very little she can do other than use that Crescent Strike to help out. So I think we could see a very strong Janna coming out here just to counteract this team. I mean, even here we go now, an Aatrox as well. This is a very divey team. This Janna, in Hind and Foresight, was a really strong pick.
Yep, the ability to just push R and be like, I don't want this anymore, or even in lane to have her Q available and just be like, let's not deal with that today. Oh, it might actually be a jungle Elise with a top lane Singe. Scion.
Like I love to see Scion. All the Donga coming out. Raise your dongas in the chat if you want to see a Donga. Am I right? But it doesn't. I don't think we will be seeing either of these picks. It will be more like an AD carry, like this Caitlyn that's being hovered over right now.
Or Katarina? AD carry Katarina, sure, why not? Let's go with a massive disengaged team to complement her own team.
Yeah, I know. Crowdlo's just loving a bit of the troll here. Vayne might be a lot more reasonable. Picking a blue side Vayne is, of course, very safe. With the Janna for the really safe laning, if you can dodge those Thresh hooks, it'll be great, and then the double golems to keep you topped up on CS. Did go for a Caitlyn, though, in the end.
I think that's a much better choice. Vayne is not quite an all-or-nothing champ, but she has to get to such a close range. Well, what feels like such a close range. Like, she has the ability to get in close with Tumble. But name someone on that enemy team you want to tumble.
Absolutely no one. You want to be tumbling away with that Condemn just to keep everything safe.
Yeah, like, I feel Caitlyn's such a better pick because her 600 range, I think she is. Possibly a little bit more problem. I think it's 600. It's so comfortable to just last hit from and CS from and stay a little bit outside of thresh hook range from. It's just so much more comfortable than what you'd have to be doing with a Vayne, where you're essentially like standing on top of your range creeps and being like, please don't hit me in the face, please don't hit me in the face. Ooh. And that's going to be Awesome Source Rex back on Ezreal, of course.
They did let that one go through. I was very sure that we were going to see an Ezreal ban coming out against Awesome Source Rex, but instead they let him have it, an intent pick as well. They could have left it open and taken it themselves, but they've let Awesome Source Rex back onto that Ezreal. And judging by the insta-lock that came out there of the Thresh, I think that is a very comfortable champion for... As it looks now to be a swap in the roles, it's not going to be... I can't even remember who was supporting him.
Cenarius was in... He
was in the jungle.
Button Master GG was the last game.
Cenarius
was in the jungle.
A slight switch out using the subs there because Mothansaurus Rex was delayed. I did get this message. He was delayed 20 minutes on a bus, and so he couldn't make the first game, so they brought in a sub. Perfectly within their reason to do. He is on the team. So yeah, now we see Cenarius going back to support, and due to the insta-lock, we can really assume that Thresh was a very safe and comfortable pick there for Cenarius. So this bot lane, we could see a lot more coming out. We do have the Janna for the safety, the Caitlyn for the range, just to try and keep things safe, but I think we're going to have to see a lot stronger play from Octopope's bot lane here, and there will be a lot of pressure, of course, from Galdrak, picking a really early pressuring champion, Elise. It could all go horribly wrong again, though.
Interesting thing to note, Rogue Samurai has taken Ghost on his Shen this time.
Oh, that is an interesting thing.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Could be a counterplay to the Singed. He's seen a Singed, and no one wants to, get hunted down and killed by a Singed. He would only have that Shadow Dash as a way of escaping, but even if he uses it to try and taunt the Singed into him, the Singed is still going to be faster than him at the end of the day, especially with that Ghost. And I guess he's just using it so he can keep pace.
Most likely. One thing I want to fault here on Legion of the Octopope is they could have picked up Ezreal, and that would have been a perfect choice for them as well. He's great at getting the hell out of danger with Arcane Shift. He's great at CSing from a billion miles away with Mystic Shot. I feel they could have put a bit of attention on him, maybe stolen it away from Awesome Source Rex as well. But I don't know. Maybe Omega Crablegs isn't comfortable on Ezreal. Maybe they felt that he didn't synergize well with the team. But the danger is, of course, that he synergizes amazingly well with all these divers to tank for him.
Absolutely. Well, he's gone for the Caitlyn. It does seem like it's a very safe early game team coming out from Octopope here. They've the only real early game demon that they've got amongst them is that Elise, and she's still early to mid in her pressure. Of course, Singed when he's late game will be a beast at farming. Janna in that team fight stage will of course have the Monsoon just to knock everyone away, keep her AD carry safe. Avinius, again, huge either team fight potential or disengage potential using that shockwave and dissonance. Could be interesting. It'll be definitely any man's game, I think, looking at the two team compositions. We will see, of course, a lot of aggression coming out of Fr0stbyte here. Aatrox jungle with that Dark Flight, huge early ganks onto the early aggressive game. Well, all together in an aggressive lane. It doesn't matter if it's early, mid or late, of Thresh and Ezreal. And of course with Rogue Samurai's Shadow Dash onto that Singed, if they can catch him, they probably have a very good chance of killing him early on.
Mid lane is one I'm particularly interested in, between Orianna and Diana. Is this a case where, as Orianna, you'd want to avoid taking Command Protect until maybe level 5, maybe level 7, just so that you can get the extra harass with another level of distance and attack in against Gigas Leviathan? Try to zone him off farm before he hits that massive pressure point at 6, and then he goes for you.
Yeah, it'll be good to see how it's played. Just those first 5 levels will be so crucial for Avinius here. And then when it hits level 6, probably level 7, Gigas Leviathan will really start to come into his own, and then it'll be really hard for him to keep on going throughout.
Like what we saw in the last game was just a mid lane that traded between Avinius and Gigas Leviathan, where like neither had a clear advantage, except that I believe it was Gigas Leviathan had a number of kills on Avinius at a certain point in the game. Like I think it was 2-0, but then Gigas Leviathan's team was able to come back and make the win. Fr0stbyte was able to come forward and just ball all together on that Ezreal and roll forward.
Oh no, it was Avinius was actually 0-2. It was Gigas Leviathan who was 2-0.
Oh, alright, I got it backwards, because I was thinking, it was the Orianna that was 2-0, and Forgetting, of course, they've traded places now. But like we're going to see a really interesting lane from that, like you said, with just all the poking coming out of Orianna, all the damage in the early game going on to Diana. This is going to be a really hard lane to cast in team fights. God.
There'll be a lot of diving going in. I feel very bad for Mega Crab Legs here. He's going to take a lot of pain. Like, not, I can't even say early, mid, or late. It's just going to be throughout the whole thing. There's going to be a lot of punishment going down onto him with this very divey composition. It's very hard for him to play.
Yeah, his placement needs to be perfect. If it's anything less, he's going to get eaten alive.
Absolutely.
Just given what this team is against him right now. Wonder if we're going to see
Nope.
Aatrox in the jungle. No.
Nothensaurus Rex has decided to actually have the items this time. We're not going to see... It was Canarius last time who was on it. There's been a slight switch there, as I said. We are actually seeing an item start from the jungler. Very important that does happen here.
Alright, it looks like that Fr0stbyte are heading down towards the red buff, or maybe they're just doing a really hard blue guard. Possibly a red invasion coming out of Octopope?
Yeah, definitely an invade coming out here. They've been scouted out, though. Pings are coming down.
Plague. Yeah, 7th Plague with eyes in his head, actually being like, oh, this is a terrible place to be on my own right now. There's 5 of them here, and I'm a support.
They might just kill me. They are planning on using a lot of that crowd control that they've got available there. They can, of course, take the Dark Flight with no pain, or very little pain on Nothensaurus Rex on the Aatrox jungle, and the Shadow Dash if they need it, along with, of course, the Death Sentence or Flay available on that Thresh. They have, however, done a hard retreat from their red buff, and they're now trying to go for the countering invade. They have planned it and seen it, and this could be messy for Octopope.
Ooh, Geosman is just barely out of range. Is that a new animation on Shen's Poison? I haven't seen that. I haven't been playing for long enough, or at least for ages. It looks like it's a full retreat, and Scenario's going to have to head back. Nothensaurus Rex, a little bit low on HP, probably going to get a hard pull from Shen using his... Oh, he's only got Shadow Dash, never mind. He's going to use the Vorpal Blade to give some HP back. And it looks like Elise is going to start blue and head to red. This is a complete reversal of what we normally see in the jungle, I feel, where top lane is the primary lane for ganking.
Yeah, it's a very different sort of way of treating things here. Smite used, of course, there by Nothensaurus Rex. He's going a little bit too low, taking that Dark Flight to start. Or Galdrak is forcing the Smiteless. So he'll be able to take down that that red buff a little bit quicker than Nothensaurus Rex will take down his blue buff. But altogether, we'll see the ganks coming down a little bit later than we can expect because of how low these two junglers have gone on their buffs.
Alright, Mega Crableg's doing a little bit of damage to Awesome Source Rex here, getting a decent bit of poke off with his extended range. Once Awesome Source Rex hits level 2 though, the damage should swing back into his favor. He'll have a little bit higher base, he'll have a little bit more options with Arcane Shift. Obviously you don't want to use that for aggression, because that would be ridiculous. And Gooseman just going ham on Rogue Samurai here. He's got a lot of damage with that poison. Is this a gank from Nothensaurus Rex this early on? With no wards down.
Cleared out the buff. He just got warded out there and he's going in.
Just the slow.
Can't quite make it work. Really a lucky, cheeky little ward there by 7th Plague. Just got it down as Nothensaurus Rex was coming in. Very well timed. Just saw it. Galdrak so nearly picking up what could have been a potentially lethal gank there onto Gigas Leviathan. But everyone stays alive for now.
It looks like Gigas Leviathan is keeping himself well in on this lane. Like, he's trading pretty efficiently with Ivinius here. And bot lane kind of started swinging back and forth between them. Obviously, the Lifesteal Quints and the Doran's Blade start means that it's really hard to make any damage stick in terms of trades and pokes. Geusman dropping kind of low here, but he's feeling himself as singed. He's feeling pretty okay, just hanging around, poison trailing, being fine. And Nothensaurus Rex possibly coming for a counter gank into mid. He is at half HP, but he does have the Aatrox passive to keep himself in the fights after he goes down once. But I don't know if you want to keep yourself in against an Elise. We'll get all the cooldowns back up as you come back up. Ooh, big damage coming out there. So yeah, right now there's just a lot of dancing going on. Do you think this is going to last for a lot longer, or once we hit like 5, 6, we're going to see huge damage come down everywhere?
I reckon what's going to be quite crucial is when we see 6 in the lanes, Cenarius going in and lands the hook and goes for it on Omega Crab Legs.
Ooh, Omega Crab Legs dropping super low, good exhaust, but it may not be enough. Not enough mana for the Janus Shield. Barrier gets popped, but no doubt. Whoa, huge misfire on the Piltover Peacemaker. Might have been enough. Oh, Omega Crab Legs. Awesome Source Rex there with the barrier at the last second. Really well played. My heart goes out to Omega Crab Legs there, though. That Piltover Peacemaker, if it had hit, would have forced the barrier pop a little bit earlier, and Awesome Source Rex would not have been able to get as much damage out as he did, because he would have been too busy trying to get away from the Piltover Peacemaker, tank it up. He still wouldn't have been able to chase after the flash. Really unfortunate. In that sense, First Blood over onto Fr0stbyte.
Yeah, Awesome Source Rex getting this early kill again. We could see the same thing that happened last time in the spot lane happening again. Awesome Source Rex showing with the Ruby Crystal Longsword, he's rushing the Phage. He's really going early for that Trinity Force. This could be the same thing about to happen again in this bot lane. They've got to be really careful and they've got to get Galdrak down here right now. Put the pressure in, try and pick up a kill onto Omega Crab Legs with that Caitlyn so that she can keep the lane bullying going. It's going to be so hard for them to do. Of course, there is still, however, a flash on Awesome Source Rex, so he's going to be so hard to catch with that Arcane Shift and with the flash. They can just travel about 900 units distance really quickly. It's going to be very hard for him to be actually shut down here.
And he's landing those mystic shots pretty reliably as well. It's a lot of damage, and like we said that you can sustain through most of it, but when a mystic shot is hitting you in the face for about 150 damage this early on, and it's on like that 4-second cooldown when it hits, you can't really expect to sustain through all of it, especially when your support is trying to shield you, trying to recover her own HP at the same time. It's just a little bit daunting to try to face down an Ezreal like that. Alright, Cenarius just kind of feeling himself around. Muffin Source Rex possibly going in for a gank in top lane right now. But Singed is 6, so that means that he's got the madness up all the time. But it may not be enough here. He's got the Insanity Potion, but he is ignited, and Vorpal Blade for the kill. And that's why you take Ignite on Shen.
Really well played there by Rogue Samurai and Muffin Source Rex. It was just tidy play all round. Singed was trying to be his usual trolley self to get it in, but Shadow Dash into Darkflight. Strong team play there. The pair of them they really were able to chain their CC very well. Taunt, stun, slow, and well, Singed isn't tanky enough yet. The Vorpal Blaze finished it off really well played. Can't fault them for that.
Yep, Vorpal Blade, I think it was level 3 at the time. Maybe it was level 4. Probably still level 4. No, it was level 3. It's a lot of damage. People always underestimate Shen's damage in lane, but Vorpal Strike into Keyblade is easily 200, 300 damage really early on. Very good net there out of Omega Crab Legs, by the way, to get away from the hook/flay combo there. It's just a lot of poke going down in bot lane.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I think the one that we are going to have to watch out for now as the game's reaching this 8-minute mark, the buffs are starting to go over, of course, to the mid laners. We'll get another bout of red buffs coming out of the two junglers, and that's when their ganks are generally... Those 3 minutes are when the junglers' ganks are most potent, when they've got the red to do the extra damage in the slow. One thing that will have to be watched will be this mid lane, because now Gigas Leviathan is level 7 on Diana. Fair enough, 15 CS down, that's about right considering the melee to the range difference between these two champions. But if that Crescent Strike lands onto Avinius, Gigas Leviathan's going to have to be... Sorry, Avinius is going to have to be so careful that Gigas Leviathan doesn't just blow him up. The Command Protect might not be enough. As you see, an ult coming out of Awesome Source Rex, and the Flash Box goes down!
Ooh, Mega Crab Legs probably got to go down to the combined damage here. Does he? No, he does not have his ulti anymore. It's already been blown, so just a safe recall under tower. That double Doran start was a very wise decision on Mega Crab Legs. He realized he wasn't tanky enough to hang around in this lane, try and take the sustained poke, so he wants to try to make himself a little bit more HP tanky, a little bit more resistant to that damage. So Berserker's Greaves getting picked up here, probably just to recover HP if he wins the trade, or forces Awesome Source Rex back out of lane. 7th Plague has yet to go back and has yet to die. Really good Janna play coming out from him. Kind of hovering around the half HP mark this whole time. Obviously, got to go back now, try to pick up something. Galtrek got to pick up a little bit of lane XP at the same time. One thing I want to mention real quick about the mid laners is that there's a 30 AP difference, despite the only item difference being a chalice. Chalice/boots. Oh, pause in from Diana here. So do you think that Diana is probably running Magic Pen marks, while Oriana's running... not marks, sorry, Quince, whereas... I can't speak right now. One of them is running AP and one of them is running Pen. Do you think that's the case and that's why there's a massive disparity between them?
I don't know what it could really be. It would be, we might be seeing from one of them, just trying to check their stats here. I think instead of seeing armor yellows on Vinius, it might be AP per level yellows on her. I'm not quite sure. Or it could just be, instead of having AP Quince on Gigas Leviathan, there are movement speed Quince, because Gigas Leviathan has a lot more movement speed here than Avinius. 335, 40, 260. Yeah, it could just be, with this very odd number of 387, it could just be movement speed Quince being picked up by Gigas Leviathan there.
Mm-hmm. This is definitely very interesting, but what it means is that the Command Protect shields an awful lot more at level 1 than it should.
And so, the Command Attack and Dissonance are just going to do so much over-wave harass there to Gigas Leviathan, and will really hard push in that wave, which will it'll just make it a lot harder for Gigas Leviathan to stay in lane, because if Gigas Leviathan wants to tank up the minion wave and really try and push it down, that just gives Avinius a lot of range to really put down a lot of hurt onto Gigas Leviathan. It'll be really hard for him to stay there.
Mm-hmm. Oof, Osprey's Rex there with the recall right under the ward. They just... oh wait, no, the ward just went down now. They just decided not to check the brush, not to face check it, especially when they saw the Thresh walk out from under it. A little bit of an engage in top lane, nothing huge, but like, this is two crumbling walls running into the Gooseman, pops the ultimate, goes in on Rogue Samurai, has decided to juke towards the brush, but is now running back up into Rogue Samurai's face, just poisoning him all the day long, keeping his ulti running, flips him back immediately after the Ghost procs, does not have his own, no, has his own to proc, but decides that holding on to it for now, keeping it for the next time that his ulti's up, means that he'll be guaranteed the kill very, very comfortably. Teleport in from Shen ulti coming down onto Gigas Leviathan. He didn't have the HP to tank that out. I'm surprised that Avinius... oh wait, Avinius is half HP. Yeah, you don't want to stay that way against Diana. She can just kill him instantly. But it looks like Gausman's gonna try and trade as hard as he can for as much damage on his tower as he can, if he's not gonna get the kill. Very interesting kind of global awareness there from the Shen, knowing that even while he's getting his ass handed to him in top lane, he needs to save his Diana in mid. Very, very good team play. Yeah,
really, a lot of pressure here, of course, coming down out of Octopope. As we see, of course, the first tower going down following Gausman's really hard push in the top lane. And then Galdrak got a really sweet engage onto Gigas Leviathan, using the Cocoon in for some good CC. And, of course, the follow-up damage from Avinius on the Oriana was very strong. The Shockwave wasn't used, however, which is something that's quite important, and I bet you Avinius is kicking himself for that. Either it was on cooldown during the fight, or it just wasn't used at all because Avinius ran out of mana. It could have been the difference between a kill, or of course, as we saw, Gigas Leviathan surviving. So a lot of, not a lot of idiosyncrasies, but we could see a lot stronger team play coming out of these guys and just being aware of each other's cooldowns. And it's the little things right now that are taking the advantage. Gigas Leviathan going a bit too hard onto Avinius, didn't have the Crescent Strike, so couldn't get the reproc of that Lunar Rush, but it has still got a very low cooldown of like 24 seconds right now. So, no, it's just these little things that are making a difference. Those two kills were just little bits of tight play. The pair of them in top lane, though, they're really going hard onto each other right now.
But I think Shen definitely has, not Shen, that Singe has the advantage here. He still has his Ghost up. He can definitely chase down Rogue Samurai. That's possibly going to be the kill. One more tick of poison? No. Barely surviving on this Shen. 30 HP, walks off just fine. And Singe. Oh god, Singe, what are you doing? Please, no. No, you've run out of ulti and you have no Ghost, and that's still a passive up in Sorcerer Rex. Just go home. Go home, Singe.
Everything is down to the wire right now. I see another pause coming out. Just a bit of lag
I feel you,
going
Gigas
down.
Leviathan. I feel you.
It wouldn't
For
quite
any of
be
those who missed it.
it wouldn't be a
Sorry,
Gaelic gaming game if there weren't 100 pauses that came down over the whole thing. Always happens.
Yeah. For those who missed it, Gigas Leviathan is complaining that he's getting more lag, and Irish ISP's GG. I feel him. I know that exact feel.
We all
Oh,
do.
God. Aircom. My life. What mistakes have been made?
Well, I think we can use this time now. Just take a look down the board, see the difference in CSs and item differences. I think the biggest difference we can see here is really in the farm in the jungle. There is a 22 CS difference. Now, when we compare that to the 28 CS difference in mid lane, the thing that's important is that the difference in mid lane is to be expected. An Orianna versus Diana. Orianna is ranged. She can really bully down that Diana in the first 6-7 levels and get a lot of pain going across. That is more natural. But in the jungle, you don't have someone attacking you all the time. If someone invades your jungle, you can pull someone up to help fight it, and that's time when both of you, of course, are not farming. Other than that, you should really be aiming to hack at least equal with your lane opponent, and if you're not, with your jungle opponent, and if you're not hacking equal with them, you need to be getting kills. Muffinsaurus Rex has made that one gank work really well in that top lane there with Rogue Samurai, and so has the assist goal from that. But with that kill, he is still 22 CS ahead. Galdrak has been trying so hard to make these kills and ganks work, but nothing has come about from it yet. 0-0-0 is the scoreline, and his team only has deaths. And that gold difference, we'll just give you an exact number for it right now, which is nearly 600 gold, nearly 500 gold. It's about 400 gold, though, 450 sort of thing. So that ultimately comes down to the difference of your Spirit of the Ancient Golem being completed and it being 2 components. More, as we're seeing here, it's the difference between Doran's Blades and Boots, and then a load of wards and potions as well. A lot of consumables brought out from Muffinsaurus Rex. And this definitely seems to be the theme that we're getting from Octopope, that the jungler is that second support, which is really good. It's a very strong play, and it's really commonly seen in higher levels of play.
Wait, hold on a sec. It's Fr0stbyte. That's Fr0stbyte you're talking about now, son.
Muffinsaurus...
Octopope
Oh,
is
sorry!
Contract.
Sorry, I meant Fr0stbyte. Which is, sorry, what we saw in the last game... The team name was wrong. The team gest was right. We did see in the last game when Canarius was jungling for us, we saw a lot of wards coming out of Canarius, which you picked up on, which seems to be the overall theme of Fr0stbyte here. A lot of map pressure and using that jungler as a second support. Of course, it's very good, meant to be pinned down, and it's a very common style of play in higher levels because of how successful it is, but it does mean that there is a bit of an item lag. But back to what I was saying, that CS difference is meaning that that item lag is not being so hard felt. Doran's Blade giving you that extra bit of health, the damage, the lifesteal. It's very close right there in the items, but it's only close because of the CS difference. I've got a little bit of chat here, let's just check that.
They're just having a bit of banter because they're all bored. What was I going to say? Yeah, I feel like the most obvious thing in the world, vision wins games in League. The more vision you have, the better chance you have of not walking face first into 5 of them, the better chance you have of seeing where they are, of catching someone who's out of position. And Fr0stbyte have been really, really on the ball for the most part throughout their game, both games even, about having vision. Like, right now, they have clear vision into their enemy's jungle. They can clearly see the tri-bush, they can clearly see the other exit up just above Dragon, and they do have a ward in the upper mid-bush, which is ridiculously important, whereas, like, there's barely any cover for Legion of the Octopope right now. They have their own lanes warded, they have their own brushes warded, but, like, the defensive tri-bush isn't warded. Admittedly, you don't really need defensive tri-bush ward for yourself.
Yeah,
if you have the mid ward that covers your jungle entrance up above.
That
the
mid
lower
ward
jungle
there is sort of covering it out, but yeah, absolutely, vision does win games, and there is a huge vision advantage right now in favour of Fr0stbyte.
There was something else that I was feeling, which is a bit odd that Thresh with an assist is only like 10 gold ahead of this Janna. Even less now, actually. Just keeps catching up. Oh, Omega Crableg's getting a bit of damage done to him. Oh, gets hooked! In comes Thresh, in comes the Flay. Is it going to be a box? I think it's on cooldown. It is on cooldown. Scenario's got to start backing up, though. That wasn't an amazing trade, but the damage isn't on Omega Crableg's. Omega Crableg's, possibly overextending a little bit, but does have the Janna shield. Doesn't have any mana to cast any spells at all. He's only got 40 MP. He needs to save up for that 90 caliber net, which is 75. It looks like they're just going to keep on... Oh, it's because Galtrak's hanging around there, but Fr0stbyte know Galtrak is there, so they're going to keep on the defensive. They're going to keep trying to chip away as much HP as they can, and they're pulling in their own 2 mid and jungler. Got to come down and try to cause some issue here, while Ivinius just grabs the farm in mid, possibly tries to take the mid tower. Oh, in comes Elise. Elise with the jump onto Cenarius. Cenarius left on ridiculously low HP. Awesome Source Rex tanks the shot for him, completely accidentally. Stunned in place. 7th Plague, really, really low. Possibly going to go down here. Burns his flash. Galtrak going back in. Jesus, man, you 5 HP, what are you doing? 7th Plague, gotta go down to the Shen. Really good use of the Ghost on him. Flash from Omega Crablegs, really, really well done. Oh, he turned to take a shot that may be his undoing. A Muffinsaurus Rex in on the fight. Rogue Samurai tanking up all the damage. That is a 3-for-0 trade where they committed 5 men to bot tower.
Bit of desperation play definitely came out there. Galdrak got bored of sitting around and was sick of having no kill contribution, so went 2 ham in. But the ward, as we said, that huge vision advantage that's coming over right now in favour of Fr0stbyte is really being felt. The ward was seen and managed to spy him out, so they had the counter gank ready. They just came really nicely and rotated Muffinsaurus Rex out of giving Diana that blue buff and came in for the counter gank. And Galdrak just had to make the desperation dive, really tried to latch on to Canarius and Awesomesaurus Rex to pick up the kill because they were so low, but he just couldn't do it. And the Stand United came down, picked up the kill onto 7th Plague. It just wasn't really going to be enough right there. It was such a sad story for what was such a patiently waited out play from Galdrak. He just couldn't quite make it work.
Ooh, he gets the stun in on Awesomesaurus Rex. Awesomesaurus Rex does not have the mana to phase shift. Or Arcane Shift even, sorry. But Muffinsaurus Rex comes down to help out his dinosaur bro and just be like, no spiders in this lane, thank you. And she just backs off.
I think that the dinosaurs would definitely win in a fight between the dinosaurs and the spiders, no matter how scary spiders are.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. Especially when one of the dinosaurs just gets back up after you kill him.
I love the way that you tried to think about that and you were like, spiders versus dinosaurs. I'm pretty scared of spiders.
I'm really goddamn terrified of spiders.
I'm probably more scared of spiders at the moment than I am of dinosaurs, because dinosaurs aren't alive right now and spiders are. It's not unreasonable.
Ooh, Galtrak going in on Giga Survives, and Giga Survives and pops his flash in exchange. This bot tower sitting really pretty at 340 health. Meanwhile, the top tower is sitting at 750 health for Fr0stbyte. 775 health even. That Singe is just trying to be an annoyance. He's trying his best to just split push and be a jerk and have poison up. And you have to commit 2 people to deal with him, because if you don't, he's got to kill one of them. Which I imagine is going to be really, really useful come a teamfight phase, when you have to commit somebody to peel on that Singe. And if you don't peel for that, if you don't peel for Ezreal, if you don't get that Singed off him, it's going to be a nightmare, even if you have your Trinity Force... do you have a timer on his Trinity Force completion? Because it's done now, but I'm not sure how long he's had it.
I missed that one as well, but it can't have been very long. He definitely had a phage in that last fight, so it's only just come up, and it's not quite as good as the 13-minute 50 Trinity Force we saw him put down last time, but it's still a good one. Omega Crablegs, though, gets hooked and boxed up.
Ooh, gets boxed, and no flash this time. Even with the displacement from the Janna ulti, it's not going to be enough. Just too much damage out of Omega Crablegs here. Trinity Force just too OP, son. Too OP. Needs nerf plays. And Singe just going to run his happy little self out of that top lane. They've committed 3 people to taking him down, but it doesn't matter because they're not going to trade any objectives on him. So they're perfectly okay to just chase that Singed out, let Shen get a little bit more farm, let him get a little bit more tank. We're not seeing the same cheeky play this time. He has not gone Berserker Greaves into Trinity Force. He's instead opted for Home Guard Mercury Treads with Null Magic Mantle. We will probably see a... what's it called again? Wit's End come out of him this game, if he wants to be cheeky and do damage. But we're definitely not going to see another Trinity Force, I don't think. Not until, like, 3rd or maybe 4th item.
No, I don't think we'll be seeing it. Well, if at all, really, because Muffinsaurus Rex will want to be going for a little bit more, like a hybrid damage and health. sort of mixed build, and you definitely want Shen to be tanky. It'll probably be a Wit's End. I wouldn't be surprised, because clearly he favours the aggressive damage-based Shen builds, showing off that Trinity Force last time, and that Null Magic Mantle is actually a really big tip of the hat to say, I'm going for this Wit's End, and it's a strong play, because they're against a triple AP team. You got Singed, Elise, and Orianna, and then there is a little bit, tiny little bit, but it's still magic damage all the same that will be coming out of Janna. It's not unreasonable right now to prioritise the magic damage reduction, as it will be really relevant throughout the entirety of the game.
Not sure where that Arcane Barrage was going. Possibly he thought that Elise was coming in on a gank? Yeah, I don't know. Like, they have vision on the red buff, so maybe he thought she was still doing it? In any case, possibly if I come out from top lane? No, it's probably just going to be a little bit of Gaius Men harassing Rogue Samurai by being singed. Just being singed is harassment enough. It's almost like being Teemo, but not globally.
One thing that's interesting to look up at is that Rogue Samurai has actually gone for this Hex Drinker.
Hex Drinker? I like it. I like this sassiness. I like this sassy set.
Sassy Shen.
Yeah, he's very sassy. He doesn't give a good goddamn about what you want him to build towards. He just wants to do damage and have fun. And it looks like they got a trend going on Gigas Leviathan. They took his move up, so that's enough harassment for them.
There's a lot of pain coming down in top lane as well into Gaius, man. This gank is going to not quite lock him up. Woohoo! Good play there from Gaius, man, using the glue to keep himself alive.
Yep. He's a Singe, though. He just stays alive and is an irritation. It's his job.
Yeah,
and it looks like Muffin Source might be... No, he's just warding up here.
Really good counterplay there. Good call there from Galdrak, realising Muffinsaurus Rex is in the top lane. There is no smite contestation. We're going to go for this dragon, and of course they get it. That's a dragon going over really nicely there to Legion of the Octopope. Yep. Galdrak's got his fingers dancing, and he's keen to make sure everything goes well for his team after this early deficit, and that dragon's really helped them there. Brought them up 1,000 gold. Very nice, and they can just keep farming on their way.
Like, the scoreline right now is 0-6, but there's less than 2,000 gold in the difference. This is Galdrak making the call to do dragon at that point. This is the Singe being Singed and keeping himself at a huge bulk of farm. Even though Shen has somehow farmed more than Singed, what the hell is going on with my life? Like, the deficit in gold seems to only be, like, the jungle and a slight advantage to the, well, a big advantage to the Ezreal. He's 3-0. He has about a 900 gold difference on his own, so he's making up half the gold difference, which means that the rest of the team isn't that far ahead. So this is still very, very winnable. They do have a decent bit of sustainable damage coming out of Singe, so anytime a team fight goes down, it's all about can Singe put his face into Ezreal. And if he can do that, Ezreal won't have an answer. He won't be able to get away from a ghost Singed with his ulti up. I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried running away from that, but it's impossible.
Yeah, it's pretty damn difficult to make sure that you can latch onto it. And now he's got that Randuin's. It's going to be an even harder game for him to play. But, heck, I got to give it to Rogue Samurai here. He is playing maximum power on this Shen. He's even used his ult to dance around the map. Picked up 2 kills and 2 assists. And he's got the CS lead. And he's, yet again, he's picked up a Phage. And he really wants to go for this Trinity Force Shen. He must love it right now. This is maximum power play. Gaius Man using that Insanity Potion, trying to get pain onto Rogue Samurai. But Rogue Samurai's having none of it. He's got his Hex Drinker. He's got Feint for that shield. And he's just going to keep smacking you. It is maximum disrespect Shen coming out here. And it's hilarious to watch.
Yep. By the way, in bot lane there, they just took the bot tower, but it was sitting at such low health that it didn't really stand a chance of staying up much longer. I am very, very surprised by this mid tower still being up.
Yeah, the junglers haven't put a huge amount of pressure in, more going for kills, but heck, yeah, but we'll see that going down soon.
The Vinius has had the run of the lane at least 2-3 times right now, where he could have just pressured forward, right-clicked the tower a few more times, but like, his tower is only got 100 HP on Gigas Leviathans, and Gigas Leviathan is a Diana. She's not renowned as a lane pusher. She's not renowned for her ability to, pressure your lane so hard that you drop tower. She's renowned for her ability to make your face melt off in one combo, especially now that she has Deathfire Grasp.
Yeah, interesting actually is the Deathfire Grasp. It's not really common that we do see that. You more often will see the Malady. Is it Malady nowadays? Whatever Stinger builds out of with that
Nashor's Tooth.
Nashor's Tooth with that Phoenix Codex. That's more of a common one, using the passive of that Diana and that's the point where Diana actually can push down towers if she's uncontested. But we've seen a Deathfire Grasp, which tells me that pretty soon Gigas Leviathan is going to pull the trigger and say, you pop, and just blow them up. I think we'll see that going in quite quickly.
I think we're going to see it in like the next 50 seconds or so. Singe needs to get his butt into that mid lane right now. Big fight about to break out. Slow on Avinius, but Muffinsaurus Rex and the rest of his team think better of following up on it.
We're just going to wait for it. Canarius is going to have to land the hook, and when he does, that's when you're going to see things go boom. Just a case of waiting for it, really.
I'd hate to be playing this game. It looks so tense right now. Because like, if Cenarius lands that hook, it's going to be huge. If Gigas Leviathan can hit Avinius or Omega Crab Legs gets picked up. 7th Plague gets knocked up. 7th Plague tries to disengage, but in goes Gigas Leviathan. He's burned the cooldown on his ultimate, but it doesn't matter. He's on top of his enemies. Galtric is super, super low. Omega Crab Legs somehow walking out with full HP after getting hooked and boxed. Muffinsaurus Rex possibly going to pop his passive. No, he's not. A 1 for nothing, but it's also going to be mid-tower. Omega Crab Legs with... Oh, he's got a little bit too greedy, a little bit too cheeky. Coming into that mid lane, gets killed by Gigas Leviathan. Muffinsaurus Rex trying to kill Galtric. Possibly a little bit greedy on his part. No last tower shot. Gigas Leviathan tanks it up for him. Muffinsaurus Rex guarantees that tower going down.
Holy moly.
A close fight. If Singed had been there, it would have gone completely different. Instead, he's still top lane. He's still trying to push. I think that was a bad call on his part. I think he needed to be in that mid lane. I think with his presence there, he would have given up top tower. He possibly would have allowed Fr0stbyte to split up and take something else. But now they're 2 towers down, and the scoreline is 0-10, and he may not even get this tower.
Oh, he's really trying, but I have to say, MVP of that fight is Canarius. Canarius landed 2 hooks in that fight. So, of the fight, he threw 2, 100% hit rate, and each one of those hit Omega Crab Legs. Omega Crab Legs was useless in that fight because of how much pressure Canarius put down. The first hook forced forced Omega Crab Legs to use his net. Great play by Gooseman killing Muffinsaurus there, just being that cheeky Singed.
Yep.
Canarius forced him to use the splash and a 60 caliber net to just escape because of the hook into the box and the exhaust. It just shut him out of it. And then even under tower, there was no one else there to protect him. The Janna ultimate was already down. And so Omega Crab Legs just got popped. Good job, Gooseman, though, picking up the first kill there in this game, full Legion of the Octopope. He is not going to let up right now.
Yep. Like, he needs to be a presence with his team. That top tower is down. It's all down to the inhibitor. He can allow his tier 1 to drop. He needs to go hang out with his team and be a bro for his dudes. He needs to be there, and he needs to upset Muffinsaurus Rex. He needs to do continuous damage in the team fights. He needs to be the problem that makes Diana burn her ulti off Crescent Strike. So, like, she'll Crescent Strike, she'll do her ulti, Singed will toss her back out, and she'll have to burn the cooldown on her ulti to try to pick it up. And even then, the Singed will still be on top of her, will still be insanity pushed, and will still be a problem. That's a second dragon going the way of... Oh dear, Janna gets hooked. In comes Thresh, massive damage. Janna pops the ulti, maybe a little bit too long, but does dodge. In comes Gigas Leviathan with the Crescent Strike combo. And down goes the support.
It's still worth, though. If Octopope can get out of here... Octopope managed to escape. That's definitely worth. 1 kill for a dragon is...
Oh, Omega Crab Legs, what are you doing?
So much gold.
Please don't. 90 caliber nets out. In comes the Arcane Shift, misses the Mystic Shot. Has to back out of that. Oh, Flash, Crescent Strike, ulti. Moonfall. And no payment because that is a flash down Oriana.
What's really important here to look at is over the course of these fights now, from 0-0, Gigas Leviathan is 3-0-1, and it's starting to show. Needlessly Large Rod, we've already seen the DFG being completed. We know that happened, and now with this Needlessly Large Rod as well, he just decimated 7th Plague, and we might see Gigas Leviathan taking a bit of
he has 57 MR. That's the DFG. That's the damage. And pokes a creep, but doesn't care. He just wanted to hang out with his friends.
He tried to get the assist, but it couldn't quite work. They just killed him 2 damn fast. And that's exactly what we saw. Singed is the tank. He's got a Randuin's Omen. Like, both of those champions killing him were auto-attack based. And they just blew him up. The DFG just brought his MR down too low, and pop he went, and that's exactly what we thought we'd be saying. Gigas Leviathan is in this game, and he's doing it now.
Hold on 1 second. Are we calling Diana an auto attack based champion now? She's clearly still. She's magic damage based. She's got her Crescent Strike doing 400 damage. Her jump is doing another 400 damage almost, and her orbs are all doing about 50 something damage, 150 damage each. Not to mention that her auto attacks, every third hit does another 300 damage. She is magic damage based, but she's using a bit of attack speed for it. Obviously,
she's magic damage based. Absolutely.
She barely has 60 MR in this fight. It's getting nuked to hell, especially with Deathfire Grasp, boosting all the magic damage by another 20%.
Oh, you mean Singed? Yeah, no, absolutely. Diana does a lot of magic damage, but she is still also attack based. And when the Singed used the Random Zone, it slowed them down completely. And all of her spells, other than her Crescent Strike, are pretty much melee ranged. He still went absolutely pop. Gigas Leviathan had the double charge on the Lunar Rush to hit him, but with the Randuin still popped. He, it doesn't matter. He just went boom. The Diana was able just to take him down.
He's even melting to Rogue Samurai down here, who, like, he's got a bit of magic damage. The Vorpal Blade is magic damage, and the Key Strike, I believe, is magic damage as well. He's lost half his health in, like, a very, very brief engagement down there. I don't think he's feeling as tanky as a Singed needs to feel right now. And he's going for the tier build. Now that's a damage build. I would have much, much rather seen an Abyssal Scepter on him right now. I feel that would have been a much better idea. Just leave the tier as it is. Go for the MR first instead of the Blasting Wand. Finish Abyssal, and then you can build your, Archangel.
Yeah, even a Rod of Ages would have been a little bit better for him. We're now 30 minutes into the game. And if he'd got that Rod of Ages first, he'd have had all of the health off of his Catalyst, including the health given from the mana bonus of his passive. And he's just not tanky enough as it is. Rogue Samurai's going for a hard split push here. Galdrak's going to try and stop him. Rogue Samurai's got a lot of items, but he's caught out.
Yep, he's popping that Ghost, and he is going to get out, actually. Looks like, yeah, that's not going to kill him. He's still a Shen. He's still ridiculously tanky. Almost 100 armor with only the Dormant Shield as his armor item. Shen has such great armor growth, it's ridiculous. And then he almost has 100 magic resist as well. His HP goes a long, long way. And it looks like Muffinsaurus Rex is getting chased out of top lane by Gaeusman. Muffinsaurus Rex is one of the few people that can't honestly stand up to Gaeusman, even though he's got the Blade of the Rune King right now. Wow. So that'll be interesting in the next fight. That's physical damage, so it's being reduced by the Random Zone's armor.
Yeah, and the attack speed reduced as well from the Cold Steel passive bonus of it will have a huge effect. And then every time Muffinsaurus Rex does hit Gaeusman, he'll have his movement speed slowed, so it's going to be hard for him. But even so, Rogue Samurai arrives.
Yep. And there's the goop to try to slow him down. Gaeusman probably going to get out of this between his move speed and the regen going through Ignite.
That's a speedy little Singed right there.
But that is Ghost and Ignite. He must have Panic Ignited down for the next fight. Scenarius feeling himself so much, standing in the front line in front of... It's only him and Allosaurus Rex standing there within vision of Legion of the Octopope, but Legion of the Octopope not getting aggressive onto him. They just don't want any of it. Allosaurus Rex gets called out by the stun. He uses his Arcane Shift to get away. He's on about a quarter health right now. He's still throwing those Mystic Shots back into the fight. Diana has revealed herself, and is just going to back out right now. Hit Scenarius though, he's still full HP, and he's reasonably tanky. He has a lot of armor. Allosaurus Rex is still super low. Box and flash out of it. Flash into Repel. Does not kill Allosaurus Rex. Top lane getting completely pushed in by Shen. He's still waiting on that ulti. He's gonna blow it soon, I feel. And they take mid-turn in response, but somebody needs to go back and deal with that Shen. Allosaurus Rex has at this point TP'd back to base, doesn't have ulti to do anything with, but he does have a Bloodthirster now. Shen just split pushing like a boss, saying like, oh look, this 5 mid. Okay, I'm just gonna take this bot tower. And this bot tower. What's that? Your inhibitor's open now? That's fun. He's gotta get out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, good taunt to dodge the goof, but it's not gonna be enough, especially with the throwback. Pops his ulti. Oh, do you Shockwave to kill him? That's the question. Does that knock him out of his ulti?
Shockwave knocks him out of his ulti. Big oversight there from Avinius. He should have used the Shockwave to knock him out of the channel back, and then that would have been another kill going over to Octopope. And those kills are so crucial right now. The tower disadvantage, would have been, is now 7-4. The advantage is full on in Fr0stbyte's favour, and we can see that in the 8,000 gold lead more or less, give or take 100 gold, going over to Fr0stbyte. And that's through that split push. And Avinius, if he'd have pulled the trigger and Shockwave then, it would have knocked him out and given a 300 gold plus about 150 gold bonus for the shutdown over to his team. That may not be a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it would have been something. And it would have been a shutdown on that Shen and a bit of relief on the map. Because it's about 35 minutes into the game now. Those death timers, they're not going to be short. It's going to be about 35 seconds here. So they could have perhaps grouped up, bought some home guards, rushed down mid with full health and taken another tower. They had a lot of pressure to do if it could have had that Shockwave go. But Avinius is being so conservative right now, just in case another fight breaks out. He wants to have it open. But the map pressure's in favour of Fr0stbyte.
I feel he had no reason to be conservative though, because he's a level 17 Orianna with level 3 ulti. He didn't have blue buff at the time, so maybe he wanted to have that before he blew ulti. But the difference is 14 seconds. Like, I don't know, I'm just... you blow ultis when they're up if they get you kills, especially when it's a key target like Shen. Not having him up means that Fr0stbyte would have been probably a little bit more concerned about any push they do, probably a little bit more reluctant to go in as hard. And it looks like Awesome Source Rex not going to get caught out here. He's got the move speed, he's got a little bit of slow. Oh, hook in on Septic Plague. Diana gets the Pressure Strike off. Box in. Shockwave!
That Shockwave was huge!
I take back everything I've ever said. This man is a genius holding on to that Shockwave. Mosasaurus Rex, no HP, goes down, no passive up, and it looks like Gaelic is doing exactly what Singe needs to do, but not enough. Mosasaurus Rex just a little bit too much damage, and it's a 1 for 3 right now, and it looks like it may keep swinging.
Really strong play overall. I mean, I thought it was all over whenever Janna got hooked by Canarius. I was thinking, well, here's the detonation button. And everything went all in there. But the Shockwave from Avinius was huge.
It was an amazing Shockwave.
Wiped them out completely. He has that Rabadon's Death Cap now and the Fiendish Codex with a little bit of extra AP in the middle. And so it was really worth it. This ult could be detrimental. It was horrible.
That's real to the headshot.
Right then.
Right. Doesn't have enough armor to sustain through this much right-click damage. Double kill, and they're going to take the first inhibitor.
That was a prolonged ace. This is an amazing series of play here coming over from Octopope. That was an amazing team fight, entirely put on the back of Avinius. That I just can't praise that Shockwave enough. Like, we were there like, why didn't he Shockwave? He could have got a kill. That's really important right now. That's why he didn't Shockwave, because he planted it perfectly in the team fight. I think he got 4 of them in it, killed 2 people with it, and then even managed to get the passive out of Muttosaurus Rex, who dropped pretty much straight afterwards. That was so well played as a team fight from Octopope there.
That was something like
brilliant.
A 5 or 6 for 1. That was amazing.
I think that was a 5 for 1.
Yeah. Was it a 5 for 1? Did Shen get out in that fight?
No, Shen definitely died. He's dead.
No, he's dead now, but I meant did he get out the first time? After the first Shockwave? Like, after the Shockwave? Did he
he survived. After the first initial bite was a 3 for 1, and then the 2 others came back in. Rogue Samurai was like, hey look, I can stun them! And Avinius said, hey look, dissonance! And Ezreal went pop.
Yeah. 1 headshot from Omega Crab Legs. Like, we're seeing the Bloodthirster, the Phantom Dancer, and the Last Whisper. It was it was probably a crit. It looked like it was a crit, because he had 60% HP, and then he didn't have HP anymore. Like, any HP.
He was detonated. And here we go again. Now, we saw this last time. I'd love to say that this is the comeback from Octopope, but they did this. They won a team fight last time and took a Baron, but it wasn't enough because of the map pressure. This time, Octopope, however, have taken the inhibitor. So they have the inhibitor advantage, whereas last time they had the inhibitor disadvantage. I'd love to see if they can capitalise on this right now, or if Fr0stbyte are going to do it again, let the disadvantage go and pull it back. Muttosaurus Rex engages.
Disengage already. Might be a bit early. Muttosaurus Rex going in, but like, command Shockwave Dissonance, Shockwave Dissonance only catching the Ezreal, and not for the huge amount they needed to. Avinius going out low. Gausman going back in, flips him back out. His hero Mega Crab Legs, you have this for dinner. And also Rex super low. Gausman just, oh my god, flash in from Omega Crab Legs, trying to using that red buff to maximum effect. 90 caliber nets out of the knockup, or I believe that was a slow range at least. They gotta take a second inhibitor on this, I think. but they're all pretty low. They need to be really cautious here. There is no ulti on the Ezreal, there is no ulti on anyone except for the Diana, and they're slowing the Diana goddamn perfectly. They're keeping her at just the range where she can't Crescent Strike and she can't ulti in.
Really well played again from Octopope. Jesus, pardon me, but like, that was absolutely incredible. Gaius Melon gave crab legs for dinner instead of the crab legs being eaten for dinner. It was really well played overall. The Shockwave, it only hit one target, but it hit Awesome Saurus Rex. Now, he is such a force right now. Awesome Saurus Rex has Trinity Force, Bloodthirster, Last Whisper. Those are big items on an AD carry. And what he did was he chunked him for about 40-50% of his health and knocked him away from the fight. The positioning, however, was the most crucial component because it meant Awesome Saurus Rex couldn't auto-attack and was just out of range of landing his Mystic shots to really have the effect on the fight. And so, Gaius Man, who'd taken most of, if not all of the damage, said, here, Rogue Samurai's a bit too overextended. He is a mostly damaged Shen, and now it's coming back to haunt him. The Trinity Force and the Hex Drinker, they're not hugely defensive. They're kind of 50-50 defensive, offensive. A bit more offensive than the Trinity Force, but it meant that he wasn't tanky, and so he just went down. And that's where the damage component of the Singed has really now started to have an effect.
Well, he's also going tanky. He's going to get his Sunfire Cape next. And he does have the Saris Embrace, which you could argue, while also being one of the best damage items in the game possible for Singe, is one of the best defensive items possible on anyone. Simply because he has such a big mana pool, he has such a strong usage for it, that being able to shield for 2% of that, or 5% of that, whatever it is so good. And they gotta take this Baron. They gotta get it stolen. Muffin Rex goes in. Blue team picks it up. There is a hook in, but I think it got an Elise Spider. And Muffin Rex is in there, and they just stood on the lantern so he couldn't get back out. And even if he did, Gaius Man was waiting on the outside of the pit. This might be GG. It's a 4v5, and there is a Baron buff on Legion of the Octopope.
Really good smite there from Galdrak. Had the competitive smite coming in from Muffin Rex, but they crowd controlled him perfectly. And Gaius Man, I gotta give it to him. He was running perfect interference there. There was a chance for Awesome Saurus Rex to come in with a Mystic Shot and Arcane Barrage to help put more pressure onto the dragon, to help Muffin Saurus Rex steal it. But Gaius Man ran in there and was just running such amazing interference. He flipped Awesome Saurus Rex as the Baron buff was going down, so there were no spellcasts coming out of him. No pressure at all. And then they managed, of course, just to outsmite Muffin Saurus Rex. Galdrak, he is doing it again. He is showing what a fantastic jungler he is, and he's really giving it to them now. Gaius Man's going to run a lot of pressure onto this, but they're pushing for their third inhibitor with a fully Baroned up team. This could be it. This could be curtains right now for Fr0stbyte. It's going to be so hard to see what happens.
Take out that other inhib. This is going to be really, really hard for Fr0stbyte to come back from. Obviously, they do have a Banshee's Veil on Ezreal right now. He is very tanky, and they are looking to try to take this fight under their towers. But a good siege in... Ooh, that was a really nice shot. That's just going to send Thresh back to base. If they can get one caught out with the Galdrak stun, it would have been a free kill. But Thresh is now going to come back full HP. But all they have to do now is siege, use the range from Caitlyn, and cover her nicely. And they can just take towers down. They can just pepper them down over the duration and wait for the double Mega Minions to come in. Oh, and they're taking one turret. This fight could go... Like, if it goes against... in comes Muffin Rex, but gets knocked out immediately. Rogue Samurai's all the way in, but doesn't taunt anyone. He gets the Spiderlings. Omega Crab Legs being forced to burn Barrier, being forced to burn everything. Barely gonna survive Janna Shield, but it's not enough when Giga's Leviathan comes in. Giga's Leviathan gets melted, and during that entire engage, where was the other three members of Fr0stbyte? Oh, Shockwave in on the Ezreal, trying to just make him feel really uncomfortable. Gaius Man making a beeline straight for his face. Muffin Rex, no passive up, is dropping like a rock right now, but they're just going to focus down the Nexus, and that will be the game.
Really well played there. Good game, well played by Legion of the Octopope. They just brought that back. They were 10-0 down at one point. If not, it was 12-1 if I remember correctly, until they got that 5-for-1 team fight in the mid. And that just goes to show... Kills on everything. They brought that back. There were some brilliant cocoons coming out from Galdrak. That, of course, game-changing ultimate from Vinius on that Orianna. Just crushed that team fight and really secured Octopope into that game. That is now 1-1 between these two teams. I'm really looking forward for this third game. These two teams right now are giving us such an amazing series to go with. It is incredible.
Third game?
This is a best of 3 now.
Is it a best of 3 now?
It is a best of 3 now.
Great.
We're not done here yet. There's another one coming. And
Alright. Yeah, Galdrak's play there, he was on point with... I'm sure he's the one making the calls for the... Not the buffs, but like the main objectives in the jungle. And I'm sure he's the one who was like, okay, when he goes in, you just stun the hell out of him. The positioning on spiders there was very, very, like... Just right, just where they needed to be,
just
so no one was getting hooked.
Undue Canarius on that thrash.
It was amazing play from both teams. Fr0stbyte had the lead early on. They had a very, very comfortable command of the game, but the choice to go full ham damage, while I love it, was possibly not the greatest thing they could have done for themselves.
Indeed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are just going to take a short break here, try and get this lobby set up, get all the teams in and ready. We will be back after this short break for the third game of this best of 3 between Legion of the Octopope and Fr0stbyte. Don't go away, we'll be back after this short break.